Ladies and the few gentlemen on this channel, it is no secret that I am not a little dude. I'm kind of proportionate. I'm kind of built in all the places that don't matter. However, in the places that do matter, I'm built like a Ken doll. However, today we're going to be talking about something that's pretty serious, something that affects about 42% of American adults in America. And I'm going to say it right now, being overweight is not good. It is not healthy. I don't care what you think. Don't at me, bro, because you're wrong.
I would love if we could start listening to fat people and plus size people when they voice very real concerns and fears and insecurities. So for example, we've got into this trend of when a plus size person says, I don't want to go to the gym because I'm scared I'm going to be pointed at and laughed at. And it is met with, no one is going to be watching you at the gym because they're focused on their own workout. I wouldn't let it bother you.
Now, as a fellow fat, I have been to the gym. I was 360 pounds at my heaviest, 250 at my lightest. I'm currently about 270 pounds. I typically plateau here unless I go to the gym and start lifting weights. Cardio doesn't really do it for me. I walk a lot at work. My blood pressure is pretty good. My A1Cs are pretty good, which is kind of surprising considering how big I am and the fact that diabetes runs in my family, but a lot of that I attribute to doing physical labor at my job. And I don't entirely think that she's wrong. I do think that fat people have a problem with going to the gym because they are worried that they will be judged, because typically in the past, people have judged us or made fun of us for being overweight. However, the gym is not the school lunchroom, and most people there are working on their bodies themselves because they all have a perceived flaw. Some of the nicest people that I have ever met were the people in the gym that saw me as a new person in the gym, not exactly know how to use the equipment because I had never done it before, and they would come over and help and give you instructions or guidance. So there is a good chance when someone tells you, hey, let's go to the gym, no one's gonna care about what you've got going on because they're all working on themselves. It's absolutely true.
Or, I don't want to eat in public because I'm scared I'm going to get judged. What do you mean? No one's going to be watching you. No one's going to be watching what you're eating. I won't let it bother you. Or, so what if they do? Who are they to you? Water off a duck's back. It's not helpful. It's not helpful, right? Because first of all, I understand the sentiment where you're saying like no one's going to be watching me, but unfortunately it's just not true. Because the reason why a lot of these fears and insecurities exist for fat people is because they've already happened. They've already happened, and we don't want it to happen again because it's not fun. It's horrible to have to deal with it.
To a normal, mentally healthy person, words of encouragement are typically going to be helpful. So there is an assumption on your part that just because something happened in the past, it's guaranteed to happen again, which is pretty foolish in my opinion. I mean, maybe in the grand scale of an infinite universe, but I can't tell you how many times I've went out to eat and said, oh, hey, look at that fat person eating like a normal person. Ha ha ha, that's so fucking funny. They're fat. What I want to know is what manner of consumption are you partaking in? Are you just up there shoveling food in from the buffet directly to your gullet and just letting it slide down like a seagull consuming fish? Do you go to a restaurant and just tell the waiter to set up a conveyor belt from the kitchen directly to your mouth? For Christ's sakes, did you enter an abandoned train station, cross into another world, and start eating the spirits food like Chihiro's parents? Because yeah, in that case, I'd probably be like, yo, look at that shit, that's kind of fucking crazy. However, if you're sitting there eating a meal like a normal person, why would I give a shit? You're not the main character. No one cares about you.
So you saying no one's going to be watching me or people are just going to be working on their own workouts isn't 100% true, and it sucks that it isn't. I wish it was. It isn't, okay? But then also the idea that the only way I can battle this is by, saying, oh, well, these people shouldn't, you shouldn't let these people bother you in that way. That requires so much confidence that not everyone, and I mean everyone, not just plus size or fat people, I'm talking about everyone, struggles to make. To get to a point where you don't mind being like outwardly laughed at and mocked at and pointed at in public is an incredible level of confidence to obtain. Now, marry that with this idea that if you are fat, you've grown up your entire life having your confidence beaten out of you. And if you have any confidence now, it's because you've worked so hard to get there and having to dismantle all of that fat phobia and all of that diet culture in your head. I get it, and I salute you for getting to that confidence. But what I'm trying to say is, the world hasn't helped you get to that level of confidence. You've had to do it yourself because the world has told you that you're ugly, that you're not deserved of love, you're not deserved of respect, you're not deserved of even equal healthcare. You are a drain on our resources. That's one of the things that gets thrown at me a lot. So the idea that that person who has been hearing that their entire life is now also meant to have the level of confidence so that they don't get bothered by people outwardly laughing and mocking them in public spaces, well, that's fucking shit. That's a really hard task that you're asking these people. And I don't know what the answer is, but I think the first step is we have to admit that these things happen. So when a plus size person says, I'm scared about going to the gym, your answer isn't, oh, no one's going to be watching you. It's, I hear you, and that's a really valid fear to have. It sucks that it's valid, but it's valid nonetheless.
Again, she's not wrong. It is a valid fear to have. However, we do not let our fears dictate and control our lives. And the world doesn't owe us anything. The world is chaos that we choose to make order out of. We cannot go into the world assuming that it's going to provide us with comfortability or stability or any type of compassion. The world is a mistress and we are the subby-wubby uwu boyfriends. As a matter of fact, thinking like this woman where she projects all of her insecurities onto society, deeming them bad people before she has ever had a chance to meet them, is doing a detriment to society as a whole and labeling people that would be good people as bad people. Now, as somebody who has been picked on in their life as a fat person, I will tell you I was not always this confident. I was shy. I was getting bullied. It happens. However, I took that and I embraced it as part of myself and I developed something called a personality. I became funny. And the truth is, me being fat is a choice. I could get up every day and go to the gym. That is not a problem. And I understand that some fat people do have health problems that limit their ability to do things like this, but guess what? We're not disabled. You're just fucking lazy. So if your life is not going the way that you want it to, and you keep doing the same things that lead you to that direction, maybe you should stop and try something different. Because it's easy to get on the internet and say, woe is me. However, it's hard to actually do the work required to make the change.
I mean, why do you think fat models get so much fucking shit online? Like, it's wild to me that the amount of people who take such an issue with the fact that I get hired to model underwear. How is someone else who is my size supposed to know what underwear is going to look like on them if they do not see me wearing it? And right, good point. It's just like straightforward, it's like practical. It's literally just they're selling clothes, right? This is capitalism. They have a product that they're trying to sell. So this is how they're able to sell it.
Now, surprisingly enough, I think that this is actually a pretty good mindset to have. This person clearly knows that they're overweight and they're using that to their advantage as opposed to their detriment like the first woman. I personally think she's showing an extreme level of confidence, knowing that she is that big, knowing that she has those flaws, taking advantage of the situation and not allowing the people to get to her. And honestly, if you were to tell her that she was overweight and unhealthy, she probably knows this and doesn't need you to tell her. Like, I don't need you guys to tell me I'm fat. You guys aren't funny enough to tell me I'm fat. So please, for the love of God, if you want to get to me and tell me that I am fat, there's a good chance that I'm just going to ignore you because it's not funny. However, if you go to Queso's community and take some notes on what they say to him, come back to my comment section, tell me those same things, I will probably laugh and respond to you because it's funny.
Get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me.
Like, if that's how she chooses to feel, then that's how she chooses to feel. She's wrong because being 5'3" and 300 pounds is not good. She is a very pretty girl. However, being 5'3" and 300 pounds is not good. I was 300 pounds. I am 5'6". I am pretty wide. I have wide shoulders, so the weight looks pretty good on me. However, with that 3 inches, if I was 3 inches shorter, you would notice. And for anyone whose mind is in the gutter right now, get out of it because you know what I meant. You know exactly what I meant.
This stupid fucking big back trend shit that's going on right now pisses me the fuck off. Every single time I see one of you guys post one of these fucking big back trend videos or I see people laughing about it, all I can think is that I hope every single fat person in your life treats you like the fucking piece of shit that you are after this. I hope they see you for what you're worth. I hope they see you making fun of fat people and like fat people just eat nonstop all the time. I hope they see you acting like that and I hope they stop fucking with you. Because they deserve better. This shit's ridiculous. Like, you guys, you really is 2024. Y'all can't think of better jokes. You're just gonna take low-hanging fruit and make fun of people who have different body types than you. Like, you don't think that people who are built like that wish that maybe they could have like a more socially acceptable body type? This shit pisses me off so bad. Because I know there's some little fucking kids crying and shit. There's some little girls out there crying tonight because you're fucking talking about big back people, and they can't help it. That's just how some people are built. And I'm sick of it, you guys. This one makes me just fucking sad.
I make a lot of videos about TikTok. However, I did not know what the big back trend was, so I had to go and look at it for myself, and oh my god, it's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Big back, 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 big back. On the back that is so big, I eat all of my food. And if you wanted to be like me, then you should eat your food too. Big back, big back. Ooh, you better get him. This guy that's clearly making fun of himself is out there hurting children. Oh Lord, she's in the kitchen eating leftovers at 2 a.m. with a pillow shoved down her back. God, this is so offensive and so detrimental to the greater health of society. Big back, 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 big back. On the back that is so big, I eat all of my food. And if you wanted to be like me, then you should eat your food too. Big back, big back, big back, big back. This is why I say that I hate white women, because they clutch their pearls and get offended over things that literally no one is getting offended over.
Look at my beautiful big back. So beautifully big backed.
Eat your fucking food. You're the big back. Get another one. Show them who the real big back is. That's what I thought.
Ooh, here we have an example of a woman clearly being a BB, because she did not get offended over being called a big back. She is a BB for being a boss bitch and throwing that shit right back at her boyfriend. Video after video, I see no offense. Everyone is embracing it and laughing at it, because no matter what size you are, you can be a big back. And everyone that is fat in this video, trust me, they know that they're fat. They are using a dark sense of humor to deal with what they're going through. You think the guy in the kitchen doesn't know that he's fucking fat and eating himself into the grave? You know what? Maybe it's a good thing that these plus size or these fat creators are actually out there doing this, because it shows that not everything needs to be taken so seriously. You can only get bullied if you allow yourself to be bullied. Not to mention, it could potentially open a conversation where there was not one before, where you can say, hey, you don't want to be like this. Look at the way this person's moving around. It's not good for their health. Their heart is literally going to explode from being 3 times the size of a normal person. Not to mention that you don't get to be offended for other people. They have the right to be offended themselves if they choose to be. We don't get to tell people how to think, and if they don't think, we cast them down like a minority. God damn it, that's what white people do. And honestly, with everybody jumping onto the big back trend, whether you're skinny or not, I do think it is very accepting of fat people or fat bodies, whatever you want to call them. However, being fat should not be normalized, as it is not healthy. And if you're still here and you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, please let me know why. Is it because I'm not funny? Is it because I'm not telling the truth? Is it because I am not allowing fat people to change the world to make it body positive? Because I am body positive. I love people and I want them to have a good, healthy body. Don't make the decisions that I make. Don't be lazy. Go to the gym. Take care of yourself. Eat better. However, on the other side of that, we should have a little bit of grace and compassion for people that have immutable characteristics of their body. Maybe they're paralyzed or their legs crooked or something like this, something that they cannot physically change about themselves. 90% of people who are overweight can change it, yet they choose not to.
Right side, I'm going with my camera guy, which means my chances of getting seated by a fat bitch are decreased by 50%, which is super dope, you know? Because the absolute worst thing that could happen on an airplane is getting seated between some fat. Honestly, they should have weight limits for planes, because I shouldn't be forced to sit beside a fucking beluga whale for 4 to 6 hours every time I have to fly across the country. It's just not.
You know what's not right? The fact that I reported this video for bullying and harassment and there was no violation found whatsoever. I went to report this video under hate speech and hateful behavior, And right here it shows some things that they don't allow you to demean people based on. And I just think it's funny that they don't do anything to protect fat people on this app.
Why should they? Is there a magical number that when we step on the scale means we're automatically immune from criticism? Because let me know what that number is and I'll get to it and I'll be the best fucking YouTuber because I'll be able to say whatever the fuck I want to say. Now, do I agree with what this guy said? Absolutely not. He's a fucking asshole. However, he has the right to say it and you do not have the right to get into your feelings and try to deplatform him. Maybe if you got out of your feelings and got into the gym, you wouldn't feel the need to be so fucking offended.
Like, honestly, I'm running a very thin line right now with getting this taken down for being a bully.
Ma'am, I can assure that by you being offended by this, you don't know anything, Thin, and you are not running anything. He is not bullying anyone. He is not calling out people by their names. He is just stating how he feels. Yes, he's an asshole, but you're the one bullying him by targeting his video. Because guess what? At least here in America, we have a thing called freedom of speech where people can say things that you don't like. You don't get to try to take those freedoms from them.
I've had this issue several times before where I've tried to make a video like calling somebody out for being openly fat phobic on this app and blatantly bullying, and I've gotten so many violations I can't even count.
Does your fat woman brain not understand logic as to why you're wrong? Because you're the one making targeted videos harassing people that are stating general statements to the public about what they do or don't like? Clearly, your videos keep getting taken down, so TikTok must be fat phobic too. Or crazy, maybe if everyone is telling you that you're the problem, you're the fucking problem. But if you won't take accountability for stepping on the scale, why would I expect you to take accountability in this situation either? It's you. Hey, you're the problem. It's you. At lunch time, I eat all my food.
In TikTok, you don't want people demeaning people based on personal characteristics, but how much more personal can somebody's body be? How many times are you guys gonna let people come on here and just blatantly degrade fat people just purely based on the way their body looks and do nothing about it? And before people want to come and defend TikTok, they have regulations around unhealthy body images when it comes to disordered eating and whatnot. But why is there nothing to protect fat people?
Do you have a medically diagnosed eating disorder, or do you have a problem with portion control and shoveling food into your mouth like there's nothing left, like you're going through the apocalypse and that last can of beans is the only ration you will ever have to eat again? Because I could be wrong and it's not the portion control problem. You could have an eating disorder. However, by the fact that I can see the last two neurons that you have in your brain scratching together to try to fire off an electrical synapses, I beg to differ.
It's so gross and discouraging to come on this app and be treated that way by people, and then to have nothing in place to protect us from something like that. And it's just so screwed up. Like in that video, he literally called for the banning of fat people traveling on airlines. How is that not discrimination? How? Why wasn't there a violation?
Ma'am, that asshole had a bad take, a very, very bad take. He said some mean things that I don't agree with. However, he is not the arbiter of what a privatized airline company chooses when it comes to putting policies and procedures into place. I mean, all he really did was share a shitty opinion. He didn't even break the law. He has a right to state what he wants to state. However, if he did have a call to action, then yeah, you could potentially be liable. And just because you're ignorant of the rules doesn't give you the right to break them. Maybe if you spent more time consuming books instead of baked goods, you would be all right. Because you won't. Because you didn't. And even if you did consume the entire dictionary, you would find a way to skip accountability. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not fat phobic because I am not afraid of any fat person, and I prefer my women to be a little bit thicker. But there is a difference between being a little bit thicker and being so morbidly obese obese, when you go to the beach, they try to push you back into the ocean. I don't think that it's okay for you to bully people over being fat. At the same time, I also don't think that if you're fat, it's okay to give up before you even try. The world is a cold, cold place that doesn't have to accept you, and you can't dictate your beauty to someone else. So stop thinking about what other people think about you and start thinking about what you think about yourself. And if you don't think that you like the person that you think about, then fucking change it. Welcome to the fucking petting zoo.